Hello everyone. I am Devang Rangani from Shantilal Engineering College, Bhavnagar, and I teach English language to the students of GTU. First of all, I would like to congratulate and would like to say thank you to the team of ALT Summit for organizing such a huge event as this, and would like to also thank you for allowing me to read this paper in front of you all scholars. So the paper that I'm going to read with you is titled as Analyzing the Role of Mobile and Computer Apps in Teaching English Language to Engineering Students, especially GTU students during COVID-19. So what is the significance of English for engineering students? As we all know that engineers are intelligent and they are knowing the solution of very complex problems. And as I do believe that having a good engineers is an unavoidable strength and asset to a nation like India. So it is a fact. But another fact that we all have observed that we have come across many students who are good at their engineering ability, their engineering skill, their engineering knowledge, but yet they fail because they are not good at English language. They are not good communicator. Uh, so I have many students who are well with their engineering understanding, but because they are not good at English language, they are not good communicator in English language. So they fail at many situations. So sometimes, although you are good at your core subject, although you are good at your engineering or mathematics or any other subject, scientific science subjects, but sometimes I feel that having good communicative ability, communication skill, I think is one of the very essential skills that we require to be good in our profession. Uh, we have also observed that I think we all teachers, we all students have understood the importance of English language, and based on that observation, various universities such as GTU, all these universities have modified their syllabus, their curriculum, and they have made English as an essential subject which can be taught to their engineering students. So I have observed updation and upgradation in the curricula and in the syllabus of engineering universities. Uh, so the basic objective, I think, when we talk about English language teaching to engineering students, there are lots of titles given. There are various titles given to this subjects or syllabus. For example, we call it a communication skill. We call it professional communication, technical communication, business communication. But the basic, the prime function, prime objective of all this subject is to make engineer uh, a good speaker or good communicator. So that is the basic function of all this subject. So I think in my university, Gujarat Technological University, I think this university has brought many modification, many changes in the syllabus of engineering students, and mostly we have observed, we have experienced very positive outcomes too. The impact of COVID-19 on teaching English language to the engineering students of GTU. So as we know that pandemic called COVID-19 has affected or rather tormented all the factors of society, and our sector of education is not an exception. The entire system has collapsed. School and colleges are shut down for almost for 2 months. But still the good thing is that the process of teaching, the process of learning has not stopped completely. I would remember what the great Plato has rightly said, that necessity is mother of invention. The problems or failure in communication between the teachers and students have encouraged to invent an alternate way of communication. During the period of social distancing and lockdown mode of life, mobile and computer apps are the only hands-on for the teachers and students to continue their teaching learning activity. So what are the various software and application that help the teachers and students to continue their activities? I think there are various applications or what we call software or website which have been helping the teachers and students to continue their learning and teaching learning process. Just to name a few, I think Google Meet, Google Classroom, Zoom, Google Quiz, YouTube, PowerPoints, all these applications have played their vital roles to help the teachers and students during this pandemic. It is irrelevant to say that these apps, all these applications have replaced the teachers, but I do believe that up to an extent, these apps have helped to continue this uh, academic activity. However, conducting the class was also a challenge for a teacher because they are not having, good practice, sufficient practice, a rehearsal kind of thing. So that it was a little bit difficult in beginning for all English language teachers or also for the students. On the other hand, the good thing was that many applications, many companies such as Microsoft or infotech companies like Zoom or Google, they have started inventing some of the applications which were very easy to use, easy to optimize for teachers and students. So that was one good beginning which we have experienced from the various companies. Uh, so what I have observed during this time, that when we are optimizing these online classes with the help of these applications, I think our students were interacting with the virtual world. Interaction with the virtual world. By this I mean that many applications such as WhatsApp and Facebook offer lots of opportunities like learn with fun or learn with leisure. So this aspect have helped the students to learn something new with a little bit fun, with little bit calm atmosphere. That was the one lesson that I have observed while I was experiencing these online classes. uh, if we handle or if we take this application responsibly, I think it provides lots of opportunity of language learning. The essence of teaching and learning is dynamic. That is one another positive features that I have experienced while I was handling this virtual class. So as I have said, this the essence of this teaching learning is not static. A language teacher's basic role, as we all are language teachers, we understand our basic role is to help or rather facilitate learners so that they can have a free flow of communication in the class. For example, we can motivate or inspire the students to communicate with each other, and sometimes if they need, we may support or guide them. So it is the basic duty of a language teacher. So I have observed that when my students were learning language with these applications or with these various online classes, I think the atmosphere of the classroom was very light and very calm. So another positive sign that I have observed. Students involvement and feedback, I think like our traditional class, initially the students presence was very less, but it happens with our traditional class too. When we are starting the term, when we're starting the semester, I think initially we have less students. The same thing is observed by me, that initially there were not much students, but gradually students started attending the class. Again there was fluctuation, but overall, what is a good sign? Again, I would say that students' ratio of feedback is higher than traditional class. Now, that can be because students is not a student is knowing this teacher as having social distancing is actually not present in the class, so is little fearless, is little bit relaxed. So that is again, I take it very positively. Overall, whatever may be the reason, but the ratio of feedback was a little bit higher than the traditional class. Uh, Now, if I talk about exam and assessment, I think it is an essential part of our field of education or academia. The biggest challenge that I have observed while we are running the class with the application is how to conduct exam and how to do the assessment of the students' feedback. I think that is still it still remains the biggest challenge because we are not sure about the patterns or various method that we need to adapt while we are conducting the online class. So still we have to depend on so many things before we consider whether the response or the feedback of the student is valid or not. So that is the biggest challenge in my view still. uh, I would like to conclude my experience or my research on this mobile or computer apps based class. I would say that every coin has two sides. So likewise, this virtual class or techno edit classroom is good. I think it is an alternate to our traditional class. It is almost something is always better than nothing. And it is also observed that this was almost impossible to reach many students, especially if I talk about the area from which my students are coming. They are coming from rural area, they are coming from very remote places. So it was impossible. I could not contact many students. But still, I think it is beginning. India is still, developing its infrastructure. So days are not far when a teacher like us will be able to communicate, will be able to contact each and every student of him, his or her. But still we need to wait a few years. I think we are having good speed, and within few span of time I think we'll be able to reach to that level too. uh, that was all my experience. So I would like to finish my presentation by saying that an app is not an option of a teacher, but a teacher without an app will have no option. As I have observed and experienced that before the pandemic COVID-19, English language teacher were slow or rather reluctant to utilize this application or ICT for teaching language. However, the demand for skilled digital teacher was weak, but the situation is changed. So change is the demand. One can easily forecast the day when a traditional English language teacher is replaced by a teacher who handles and manages all these technological apps to teach a language. The days are not far that an English language teacher must be equally good at ICT too. That is clearly changing, fueled by the need of our education system to keep the students learning through these challenging times. Thank you.